Well, hi, this is John Sarver, and welcome to My Solar Story. And this is sponsored by the Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association and the Michigan Solar Users Network. And I see a lot of familiar faces. Tonight, it's our pleasure to have Allan O'Shea talk about his new super tracker, solar system, solar tracker. And Allan is the president of CBS Solar up in Kopamish. And I just kind of confirmed earlier that I only thought he had been in the business for 40 years, but he's actually been in the business for 45 years, which is probably, it's a long time. So with that, Allan, go ahead.
Well, you know, Serena Williams and I are breaking some records and it's time to go. But I'm still here, and we did some real interesting things with wind back years ago, but we don't, my company, CBS Solar, and I have sons in the business. There's a lot of family in the business as well, has been working in the field for, 25 years, and, doing a little bit of wind and solar, and mostly in the last decade, photovoltaic. We're in Northern Michigan. And I wouldn't have some of the information that you're going to see on our new product is a little bit sales driven, you might say. It's a commercial, part of an infomercial. So I apologize for that, but that's all we had to introduce a new product. So I thought it would be a good time. GLRA has got a very warm spot in my heart. Spent a lot of time with everyone, and I thought it was a good way to introduce a concept and a product, and then get it picked apart. Have people ask questions and scrutinize what we're doing. So we have been prototyping this for 3 years. We've worked very closely with a young group of engineers called Traverse Solar. They invented the geopositioning device. We're talking about small tracking. We're not talking about large solar tracking systems. We're talking about pretty close to indestructible small solar footprint systems. And when John and I talked, I have a little 6-minute, I think it's 6-minute, little 6-minute video to show you that gives you a little bit better idea. But I thought that looking at the time and looking at the change that's going on, I thought we felt it was time for us to open up our marketing and stop testing. And we've had reliability testing as well. So with that in mind, maybe John can put this on and then we can talk a bit more and then I'll take questions. Does that make sense, John?
I'm going to take those to Diane tomorrow on that thing. Could you not talk right now? I'm listening. Okay, fine, we'll talk later. Okay.
John, you seem to, John, are you there?
Yeah, I'm showing the video now. I think most people can see it.
Okay, good. I can't. That's the only reason I was.
Yeah, I can't see it either. This is Lynn.
No, there's a document coming up.
And I can't see it. This is Leandro.
Maybe you could share your screen.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me check with everybody. Can people see it or not?
No.
Okay.
No. Nope.
No.
Let me try it again.
No.
Okay. I was seeing it, so let me give it another try.
Okay.
Can people see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm learning as I go along. So everybody can see the screen, or most people can, huh? Okay, good. Here we go.
Hey, John, you got to make sure you hit the little button that says share my volume, though, my sound as well.
Yeah. Volume.
It's not even volume. And in the share button, there's also a little thing that says share my audio.
Oh, what? Sorry, what's that again?
Down where you hit your share screen
Yeah.
options, there's also one where you have to select to share my audio.
Oh. Oh boy. Okay, so the audio wasn't being shared, huh? Okay.
We can start to see the video moving, but
Okay, let's try. Well, let's see. Let me try that again. Okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Thank you. I learn something new every day. Should I do optimize for video clip? Oh, who knows? Okay, well, at least I did
maybe.
that. Okay, we'll okay, let's try again.
The super tracker using the GPS, even on a cloudy day, it'll track
working?
where it knows
Yep.
the sun is.
Yes.
Obviously, it works a lot better when it's a sunny day. You're going to get a lot more. The whole concept of increasing the collection of solar using a tracker is very similar to the principle of why we have seasons. You know, as the sun angle on the Earth decreases, the total amount of energy that is collected by the Earth is a lot less. So it turns into winter. And it's the same concept with a solar panel. When you face the sun more directly, you're going to collect a lot more. As far as the power needs go, we run, like I say, 20 to maybe 30 kilowatts a day power needs. But the bifacials with the trackers will generate typically up in the high 30s, up to 40 on the average during the month in the summertime of kilowatts. So we're always producing extra that we send back to consumers' energy. Yeah, the return on investment, we've made our initial investment. We did an upgrade on the panels. I think of my net total cost after tax credits is about $17,000. And there's two ways that I get that money back. Through the reduced electric bills, which accounts for about 6% of the investment per year I'm getting back. And I thought that was pretty good. That's a no-risk investment. It's not like putting in the stock market. It's like a CD, and that's much better than a CD when you get 6% on your money. The other way I'm going to get that money back is when I sell the place. I'm not going to be here forever, and that's going to add value to my house and when it's up for sale. The crew at CBS Solar, they're fantastic. I pay attention to the details of construction. I'm pretty particular. And you get people like Devin and Aaron and Corey and Josh and Sean. They are great. They did a wonderful job. As a matter of fact, my neighbor put in a super tracker, and I'd go down and watch them put theirs in. You know, it's a lot of fun, and they pay attention to detail and they do it right. I haven't had anything go wrong with any of my installations. When someone asks me about solar and I want to coach them on it, you know, my initial response is put it in, install solar for the environmental benefit. That's where we started. So my attitude was, you do it for the environment. You don't do it to make money. You can make more money if you live maybe in some of the western and southern states, but in Michigan it can be kind of difficult. You can get your money back. It can take some time. So it's not like you're buying a car and losing, you know, all that money. So it can be worth it. But I see it as an environmental benefit. I have to reduce my carbon footprint.
CBS Solar is on the leading edge of solar energy design and installation. We engineer practical solutions to our customers' residential and commercial solar energy needs. We've pioneered innovations like our revolutionary nano coating and the state-of-the-art solar super tracker. CBS Solar is an exclusive supplier of the Tesla Powerwall, a battery backup that provides up to 7 days of continuous power. Learn more at cbssolar.com.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. I hope everybody was able to finally see that and hear it too.
It was fine. John, that's why I gave that technical job to you instead of me doing it. And we won't, no comment. No.
We need somebody younger than both of us to do this stuff. But do you want me to share the other thing now or wait a little while?
We can wait a while on that.
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sure. The reason I wanted to bring this to you is what we've done is we have had this tested by Michigan Tech. We have a product that doesn't clip out. It 668 watts of power out of a 400-watt solar panel. To just give you an example. So we're looking at, we're not always there, but we're looking at something that is making about 150% of what the rated capacity of a system is. We don't always hit it, but we're working on it and we're getting closer because we've done a number of things. First of all, we've eliminated any losses. In those of you that know what clipping is, it can cause problems with poorly designed systems. We also have a tracker that is been very well tested. This is a worm gear in the actuating mechanism, so it's almost indestructible. It's really a transmission. I mean, a rear end differential. The engineers used to work for Cone Drive, so they knew what they were doing. And our coatings that we put on the unit, the titanium oxide, help shedding and keep the panel clean. What we've designed here for those of you that are looking at this is a small footprint, 100 square feet, a small footprint unit that will fit in a backyard with trees. Just find a hole. We have one in Traverse City that is, you wonder how we found enough space for it to be in there because she only had about 150 feet of area, and Traverse Light and Power wouldn't let her put any more than a small tracker in there because she didn't use much power. And so we've really been working on dunes, lake lots, the application. Any of you that are in solar know some of the times when you cannot help a customer. The customer just doesn't have the ability. This is going to be a kit, very simple. Everything, John has a sheet, but everything that is needed to assemble this can be done in a day, and the electrical can be done in a day. No roofs. It can be moved if necessary if you use the ballasted system. We're even going to have a system that's called Rocks in a Box, and Devin wants to do this. My son, he wants to just put pavers in a plastic box, so we'll even give you the box to put it in, and you don't have to pour any concrete. So we started 3 years ago with this process. We've tested it. We took it to Michigan Tech, had them test the nano coating and the performance of the tracker through a winter. And we have, also been working with a number of customers. As you see, this gentleman had 3 trackers. We have USDA grant approval for using trackers, our tracker, and we have a couple customers that are USDA approved. And we're not going to be this is going to be a little bit different than we normally do. We do a lot of work in western and northwest Michigan, but we're not going to be running all over the state of Michigan doing this product. We're going to be offering it to qualified dealers, training them, and letting them have a go at it in their own territory, in their own area. We're talking about something that is going to cost more per watt, but not as much as you think. Our target market for, and we at this point in time, we're putting LG 405 watt bifacial panels on it. But we will go to, and if Mr. Schaefer wanted to put white limestone down, he could even get better production out of it, but he's got more power than he needs now. So we're working with inverter manufacturers to give us the kind of performance that we need. The bifacials this will eventually be an 1800 watt tracker, because 450s is what we will be putting on it as time moves on. You kind of watch your time, John. You said 15, 20 minutes. We put together a program, and we're starting fabrication as we speak. January was the kickoff, and we're doing some work now. We're not expecting things to be explosive. We're going to work as we sell, as we work with dealers to do this. And I thought it was important to bring it, to get reactions, get questions, and to get scrutiny on it. It's pretty amazing when you see a panel producing 468 watts of power when it's way beyond its rating capacity. So Devin my son's an engineer, and he was ecstatic yesterday because the system we have doesn't clip out either. So it was producing all that power. It's kind of solar in a box, because it's going to be something that a dealer that is maybe, someone like Michigan Solar or Green Panel or someone like that would be, selling it to a customer and putting out an installation crew, no ladders, very minimal permitting. It can back right up next to a house, because as long as that's southern exposure in the tracking, it's a single axis tractor, as you can see. The orientation is, we'll orient it properly, and it's very unobtrusive, and we're pretty excited about it. We don't know where it's going to go. I mean, I've been doing this for 45 years, and we were laughing, talking about all of the early 1980s, when there still was no photovoltaic, or very little of it, and at that time it was people that were producing and selling air collectors and wind turbines and domestic hot water systems. And of course, we've been in all of them. We've done all of that. And the sad part about it is natural gas went down so low that the air collectors just didn't catch hold, or didn't stay strong, because Michigan lost its tax credits as well. But anyway, with that, I'm going to stop. We're going to have all type of assembly videos and technical benefits as to how to do this. But I would like to know what everyone thinks, if there's any questions, if there's any thoughts, and I'll try to answer them.
Yeah, and just feel free to unmute yourself to ask a question. I can only see 25 people, so if you can't get recognized, you can always use that reaction button at the bottom of your screen, and use the raise your hand button. I don't know if everybody can see that. You know, at the very bottom, there's a button to the right that says reactions. And one of the things you can push is raise your hand. So I see one. So, okay, go ahead, John.
I have a
Get more than
question.
the rated watt production out of the panel.
Pardon?
How do you get more than the rated production out of the panel?
Well, first of all, we're dealing with a 405 watt LG panel that's bifacial. So the test data that LG gives you that it for the backside is pretty minimal. They don't, they're not making excessive claims. And a solar panel will always be able to produce, I would say, we've seen solar panels go up as high as 125% of rated capacity on a good February cold day without tracking. So it's just that normally inverters that are improperly sized will clip out and you're not getting the benefit of the power.
Aaron, did you have a question?
I was wondering, is this something that people can walk into a hardware store and look at yet? Has it gone commercial?
Oh, no. Well, you can come up here and look at it, but we are going to hopefully get to that level at some day. We're looking for examples to be out there and tested under different conditions and situations, but no, not at this time. We can give customers that are interested a place to go and see it, but probably best to come and visit us. Might even give you a cup of coffee, you know.
If you can put your address somewhere, that'd be great.
Sure.
Go ahead, Dale.
So Alan, did you mentioned that it was a single axis tracker or is it a double axis?
Single axis.
And so it
yeah, there's about a 4 to 6% loss by not doing the other axis.
So the normal tilt towards the south, you fix at a certain angle.
That's correct. Yes.
How do you set that? You set
Well,
that.
I'd be honest, I don't set it, but our team does.
Okay.
And many times, as we do when we're doing roof solar or even ground mounted solar, there's just mitigating circumstances where you're not going to be able to do a perfect orientation. So.
Yeah, like in the summertime, you might want it to be pretty flat and just tip east to west.
Yes, there are. Yes.
And in the winter, you could have it quite a bit more. And if you're up in the UP, maybe you just stick it up this way.
Well, that's where we had it tested up there. But one of the things that we found between the coating that we put on the panels and the tracker, it's a guaranteed snow shedder. There's not much that is there. So you're gaining some benefit as well during the winter.
So if somebody was considering a ground mount and you were going to put it looked like you had 4 panels on a ground mount on the tracker, what sort of increase in cost would you say it would be for a fixed ground mount that it's going to be adjustable anyway, like at least seasonally adjustable versus the tracker that's going to do the east-west tracking? Yes,
I'm going to guess and say we'll just say that and it's kind of a guess on my part, but an adjustable or a fixed ground mount, many of them we use only adjustables, but some people are still putting in fixed, and I feel sorry for the customer, but you might gain an adjustable ground mount. You might pick up, let's say $3 to $3.50 a watt installed. And this will be looking at 450 a watt. Where our target for the 4-panel, and I'm only saying 4-panel because if they go to 450, that's going to be the size we're going to use. We're doing some testing. I don't think we're going to get this device to go to 5 panels. So we're really not looking to get bigger. We're looking to get better. But we will be at 450 sometime next year because a number of bifacial companies are working on 450 watt. So you're talking about $1 a watt or more. Our target is to take these two trackers, and make it a nominal size for a home, just slightly under 5 kilowatts in production, not in rating, it's in production.
Other questions, just unmute yourself or raise your hand.
Yeah, this is Marco. I've had a small ZoomWorks tracker in my backyard since 2008, and just a couple of small 150 watt panels sitting on it. One of the fun things about it is watching it wake up in the morning and tip over into the sun, watch it track across the sky and go to sleep at night. Starts over again the next day. And I don't have any way to quantify how much more power I'm getting out of it for having it. But I have to admit, it's just fun to watch and it's been fun to experiment with. So I'm a big fan of trackers. I think that's a really good idea and I'm glad you're working on that.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. And the reason that we're working on it is we have a number of people that just can't do solar, especially when you get around all the, the lakes that we have up here. They've learned to live, they love the trees and they're not cutting the trees. And you've got some limitations there. Also, there's a lot of dune and wetland issues, not as many wetland issues now as there were, but dune issues as well. And our target is to have a tracker be available to a dealer under $5,000. And the installation we're estimating maybe would be a couple $1,000. I can't, for us, it's very easy to do in one day. If we're not augering footings, sometimes we auger and put a J-bolt system, and that would be available too. It would be ordered either ballasted or augered with a J-bolt system.
Hey, John, why don't you go ahead? It looks like you have another question. Okay, Dale, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Sure.
Super. Just two kind of technical questions. I'm curious if you got the inverter out at the panels. I guess I'm wondering if you're running DC back to the house or AC back to the house, and if you've got a limit on that distance. I'm assuming you're burying the cable underground, but just interested in that.
Yes, we're using microinverters with some modifications, but microinverters, so it's AC going to the home. As I said, we'll always encourage it to be closer to the home, but we use a guideline of 150 feet.
Okay.
And I wouldn't go any farther than that. That's enough.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Do it. There's so much line loss, and then you exacerbate the cost by adding cable size and things like that. So
makes sense. Very good. Thank you.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, can you put a tracker on a roof?
We almost had an opportunity. We're not going to fight it. We would love to put a tracker on a roof. We tried to put it on a what you might say a an outreach for the entry door to a business, but that didn't pan out. I mean, we would, yes, there's no, it's really a ballasted system, and we're talking about, we're using wind load based on ground levels instead of roof levels. So there'd be some calculating that would have to go into that, but the ballasted block is 1,500 pounds. So the only problem is versus doing a ballasted roof mount is you can't distribute that weight so much because you got so much moment on the tracker that you would. It's a block. I think it's about 18 inches by 5 feet, something like that.
Thank you.
Hey, go ahead, Lee.
Oh, so you've talked about output of the panels. When you go into PV watt calculator, how do you match up with that for the one-axis tracker that's offered there?
The one-axis tracker, I don't have that data, but they do have a calculation for a tracker there. I don't know what that number is.
And then a second question, the treatment that you put on the glass, does that actually change the capture, solar capture, or is it mostly?
It reduces the transmissivity of the surface, and it has more absorptivity. Michigan Tech is the only test that we've had at this point in time, and they gave it about 5%. Which is a lot. So,
and then I also saw that there's some 500 watt panels being used in commercial applications.
I see. Yes. The problem with the 500 watt is they're pretty large, and I think the first time we looked at it, they were just too large to put on the tracker.
Thank you.
Sure.
John?
Go ahead, Dennis.
Yes, thanks. Alan, what's the interconnection arrangement? How does that work, particularly with the tracking system, since it's off the residential property or off the residential house itself?
Well, it pretty much the same as a ground mount system that we live up north, and there's a lot of folks that have a fair amount of land. They've got 2, 3, 5 acres that they can do something with. We keep it on the same legal description of the property. There's no change. I mean, we follow consumers' guidelines for net metering or distributed generation now. And the only difference is that we have a movable unit that we're only dealing with the rating at that point in time. The inverter rating really is more what consumers uses than the overall curve of the tracker. So we follow all the guidelines.
Okay, thank you.
Well, if I followed what you said, Alan, then because you've got bifacial panels and trackers, that consumers or a utility typically is not taking that into account when they figure out how big a system you can put in, because they're looking more at the inverter and.
No, I don't believe they are. I don't believe they are, and Traverse Light and Power didn't either.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So she was only allowed, I think she was only allowed 3 kilowatts of a 3 kilowatt system or a certain amount of system, and she got a real benefit by putting a tracker in. So smart lady, you know.
Hey, Lee, did you have another question?
Yeah, but I'm old and I can't remember what it was.
Well, welcome to the club. Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Okay.
He mentioned that a package of 2 systems would give almost 5 kilowatts. Okay, And then he also mentioned the dealers might have these available at $5,000. So I wanted to make sure I understood whether the $5,000 was per unit or not.
Yes, per unit.
Yeah, I understand.
Per unit, and what we are seeing is what we're seeing is about well, 3 to 4 kilowatts a day per panel. 3 kilowatts, over 3 kilowatts, but I don't have that data on our performance. We do have the tracker on a monitoring system that we're working on all the time. So,
thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah, this is Roger again. I have a follow-up question on the panel coating. It sounds like that's a pretty cool feature, especially might be useful for a tracker to make sure that they stay clean and the tracker works properly. Is that something that individuals can purchase and apply to their own panels, or is that just dealer installed?
Well, it's a much more complex approach than that, because well, let's say that some panels that you buy are dirty and other panels that you buy are clean. So there's a real cleaning process that goes in before we spray the nano coating onto the panel, but we're applying it in a sterile condition, or relatively sterile, and there are some temperature requirements that are recorded with it as well. Now, there are nano coatings out there that can be applied, but I would say that what would happen would be probably inconsistent with thickness or inconsistent with durability. And we're providing a warranty with this. So what we do is more laborious.
Yep. Okay, good. Thanks.
Hey, John Floyd, did you have another question?
Yes, I did. You mentioned that the coating absorbs something like 5% of the electricity of the solar energy.
No, it reduces the transmissivity or the refractivity of the solar panel, and it has better absorptivity, which provides better performance of the panel itself.
So the coating increases performance in addition to keeping it clean.
That's right. That's right. And we've always said we use a number about 3%. They found about 5% in the study, but we still we calculate about 3%. We're quite pleased with it because we do it. It isn't a laborious process. When I say laborious, it's not. It's a production process. So when we're doing, a number of panels, it makes it easier. Because
the 3% is a combination of transmissibility plus the improved cleanliness of the surface.
That's correct. And the cleanliness, the verdict's always out, because every environment that you put it on, you move it to. We have not personally tested it in a Detroit or a high emission area like where there's, but we do it. We found that it's a very noticeable difference on the panel.
Okay. And you get what for the tracker, about a 10% gain?
Oh, no, well over that. We've never seen anything on the tracker come less than 20%.
Very good.
Hey, John Gorley, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, John. What is the reliability of the tracker itself?
The tracker is the tracker. It's that's why
we have a warranty.
Yes, 10-year warranty on the tracker itself, and the warranty is labor and materials. The geopositioning has been pretty stable for us. We haven't seen too many things occur with satellite activity, but there's always a possibility. The tracking device itself is a worm gear, and it is very, very durable. We've had a few instances where snow load has caused maybe it to get stuck in place because we push the envelope on this. Most of the time it sets, and those warranty issues are solvable. But durability, warranties on everything, on the nano coating, the tracker, and the system itself. And of course, the electronics.
Hey,
So
Alan,
this doesn't actually follow the sun. I guess you're just using GPS and time of day to figure out which way to point.
It follows the sun. Yeah.
But what I mean is it doesn't hunt for the sun. So for example, if there's a bright spot on a cloudy day, it's not exactly where the sun is. It doesn't find that and point to it. It just
No,
points to where the sun is.
we count on the microinverters to be doing that, but that's all electronic at that point in time. So,
hey, Alan, did you mention how many are installed in the state already, around the state?
we've built and installed about 50 trackers, and it's been a prototypical. It started with one here, and there's there's 10 trackers in Frankfort, Michigan. And there's they're around throughout the area. So what we are experiencing is much more snow load and much less smog, contaminants, particulates, coal plant emissions or foundry emissions or anything along those lines that really have a tendency to pit the glass. All glass does not do well in where there's acid. With the titanium oxide coating, it is well, put it this way, it is probably 10 times as strong as the glass. So it will resist that type of pitting. Glass is not smooth when you look at it. Glass looks like a moon crater, even though it purported to be smooth. And I come out of the window industry, so I mean, we are working on. We've been working with glass for 30 years. So.
Hey, John Floyd, go ahead.
Is your technology patented, either the microcoating or the tracker?
The tracker is patented. The microcoating, we work with a company in Colorado that does nano coatings on glazings, windows, and otherwise. And we built a relationship with them and purchased the state of Michigan. With them. So the technology is a little bit deeper. There's some German technology involved in it. And of course, nano coating is used in space flight as well as Cleveland Clinic. I wish that I could do more research myself. We don't have the money for it, but nano is the nano coating that we could put on a window, throws off a free electron, oxygen electron, and it kills MERS virus. There's no proof that it has anything to do with COVID or other types of bacteria, but it definitely, there has been some tests on that. We just haven't had a chance to take that product and do, go to vertical growth and do something along those lines.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well, we got about 10 to 8, so last chance for a question or comment. Hey, Alan, thank you very much. This has been very informative and very interesting too. And because this is the first time we've really been able to kind of talk about trackers. Oh, I got another question for you. You may not know this because it has more to do with utility scale. Do you know, are they using a lot of tractors for utility scale systems now?
Well, the single axis tracker is extremely popular in the bigger arrays out there. I don't know how, in Michigan if they are, but they should be. And bifacial also is a state-of-the-art type transition that's taking place. But you have to have a clean back to be able to get to the product. So yes, you know, and the important thing to keep in mind is bigger is not always better. If we perfect our goal is to perfect this tracker to produce 5 kilowatts or roughly 5 kilowatts worth of power, solar power to a customer that normally would have to fill the whole damn roof to get 5 kilowatts. And most of us that have solar know that. And then when you do, it's up there, the roof's fixed, the panels are fixed, nobody cleans it, nobody takes the finished snow shovel and shovels it off. I think I saw Vicky, my solar coordinator, on here, and she does, but I don't. I'm guilty of, the sun will melt it. So what we're trying to do is take away some of those things that so we can feel better about what's going on and say, no, I don't have to clean that. It cleans itself. You know,
I think we have a couple more questions. Clyde, go ahead.
Are you following the perovskite technology at all?
Pardon?
Are you following the perovskite solar technology at all?
No, I'm not. What is that?
That's that organic crystal.
Okay. Well, you know, here's I only have this to say. I you know, film solar roof shingles and so many things are out there, and we haven't really come as far as you think with wind technology. From 1974, they were built a 250 kW system, and we are now looking at 8 megawatt systems out there. Size is important in wind. In solar, what you're talking about and what a lot of research is going on is that you know, they're trying to squeeze more performance out of every square inch of solar. And that's exactly what we're trying to do in our own crude way. When I say crude, we're not, you know, at a lab and expending a lot of money, but we are practical smart. And that's what our company is doing. And we're pretty excited about what we're doing because I think I have a few sons in the business that want to retire on this product, but you know.
Hey, they're too young to retire.
I should have been retired 20 years ago. So, you know, I would say that all of the technology that's going on, as a panel becomes more efficient, we're going to gain that benefit for this tracker because we're going to optimize the efficiency of what we're doing. So I would encourage anyone to keep working instead of going to, how about 24% on 400 watts instead of 500 watts at 18%, you know, performance on a panel. I mean, I'd love to see, you know, all of these technologies converge to improve solar because we all need it. I mean, the performance has still got a ways to go.
Yeah, Lee, go ahead.
I was going to comment on the question was, is one axis trackers being used for commercial?
Yep.
In December, they turned on a 2.8 megawatt system a mile from my home. That's a
Okay.
one axis tracker. In the last month in Jackson, Michigan, or in Jackson County, 2 farms were approved. One is 120 acres and the other one's 160 acres. And those are all trackers. And in Lenawee County, the planning commissions have been negotiating on 3,000 acres. And those are all trackers.
See, perfect. The trend, as you can see, the trend is going in that direction.
Yeah, and the reason I asked the question about the 500 watt panels is that FTC Solar just introduced a heavy duty tracker that's designed for 2 things. One, to handle the big panels, but also to not block any of the backside.
Yeah.
So that tracker is designed for high profile panels or large layout panels and for bifacial.
Yep, and that's great. You got to worry about that, the blockage from the backside of the tracker. That's for sure.
Let's see. It's about 5 to 8, so I guess unless I have another question, Alan, thanks again. Oh, wait a minute, John Floyd, did you have a question?
Does the tracker you use block the back of the panel?
No, we have a bifacial panel there. The framework does some degradation of exposure, but we're working on that. You know, it's a working process to reduce any shading that takes place. And like most of our customers, I think we only have one customer that's actually put a limestone down for the tracker to enhance the reflection off the ground. You know, up here we get enough snow where you don't have to worry about it. Maybe in southeast Michigan, you have to worry about it a little bit more, and you can enhance that performance in the summertime with you know, some type of white material, reflective material.
Okay, thank you.
Well, again, thank you, Alan. This has been very informative.
Well, good. I'm glad. I didn't want to come off like a salesman here. I'm doing this more for the technology than the sales, and I appreciated all the questions because there are some good ones. I'll have to go back and ask someone. You know.
Yeah, and I think it's neat that it's a technology that was developed up in Traverse City in Michigan. So that's really neat to see.
The engineering firm, they're good partners of ours, and then our team it did the embellishments with the electronics, the bifacials, and ease of installation, and it's solar in a box is what it is, and that's what we're trying to do, make it simple. So.
Yeah, well, thanks again, Alan, and thanks for everybody who attended tonight. And take care. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yep. Same here. Bye-bye.